All right, guys, welcome back to the channel. Thanks for tuning in. I've said it before, no more secrets, and I'm sticking to it. So I'm gonna give you guys one that is a pretty awesome bait. It's a very small batch production bait. It's a difficult one to get, but it's a bait that is still produced now, and you can get it. I've had a few reach out to me and let me know that some of the secret baits I've talked about before are baits that are not produced anymore and therefore really difficult to get. And I totally understand, guys. That's not, you know, the purpose of these videos is really to kind of share baits that have worked really well for me and don't have a ton of exposure. And in a lot of cases, you know, they're baits that did not sell well right off the bat, and because of that they were discontinued, so there aren't many of them. That can be hard to find, but this is a bait you guys can get it, and it's a chatterbait style bait. It's the most unique chatterbait I've ever seen. It is a totally new kind of rendition of it. I mean, it's a chatterbait, but it's totally different, and it's made by a company that I love. They're big glide baits and different shads. They make some really cool stuff. And the company is called Phony Frog. And it's a really small company. You can look them up on social media and see what they're doing. They always release small batches of baits here and there. But one of the baits they make is called their craw. So it's a chatterbait with a craw body that then has two claw appendages that swing freely. As you can see, they swing freely. And it is one of the most lifelike looking craws I've ever seen. And it's like taking the best of a chatterbait with a craw and a crankbait and combining it all together. Because in this case, what you get is a bait that is extremely natural looking in the water, makes a very unique clacking sound, and can be used in lots of different situations. For me, I have found this bait to be the best when fishing around rock and fishing early in the spring. Like when the jig starts becoming a really good bait, or the crankbait down in the Ozark region, when you get the water temp that's in that low to mid 40s, that period, I've had some phenomenal days fishing this guy. And I fish it much more like a crankbait. And the reason for that is because I'm trying to mimic crayfish, but I'm also able to fish it very weedlessly, because the hook in this case is mounted to the top of the bait, but it's connected by a magnet. So it really always stays on top of the bait. I don't know if you guys can see that connecting back up, but you know, there's a magnet in the bait. It keeps the double hook always sitting on the top of the bait. And it's one of those things that when I first got it, I didn't know how good the hookup percentage would be on it, because they're smaller hooks and it's just, you know, the fish gotta engulf the whole bait. But that's similar to a normal chatterbait, right? They're not gonna get the chatterbait hook unless they eat the whole bait. And I really have found that the hookup percentage on this is every bit as good as a normal chatterbait. I don't know if there's something to do with the fact that, you know, the hook kind of swings freely that allows it to stay pegged, but the majority of the fish when you do hook will always be in the top of the mouth, which is one of the best percentage spots to hook a fish in terms of landing them. So it's a really unique bait. We're going to show you some footage of it in the water. I'm going to try to get some underwater footage as well. It's called the Phony Frog Craw, and I just highly recommend it, guys. Like I said, they're not super easy to get, but if you pay attention to their website and their social media platforms, you definitely have the opportunity to get these. And it's something that the fish have not seen, and I'll pretty much guarantee you'll have success on it if you can get one of them. So let's go down to the water and see what they look like. So you can see this little guy looks extremely natural coming through the water. And that's how I like to use it. I like to actually just let this bait look like a crayfish. So I almost just drag it and pop it and just drag it and try to get it to look like a crayfish. It's one of the most natural looking baits I've seen in the water in a long time, especially when you're talking about a hard bait. It still has really good motion, and it's got really good erratic motion when you swim it. I mean, it's not super consistent. It just pops all over the place, and it gives the fish something totally different to look at, especially when considering that it's a chatterbait. You know, I really don't know how else to tell you guys that it's one of the most natural looking baits I've seen. The claws pop up and look really free. It's worked great on largemouth, smallmouth, and spotted bass. I haven't had as much exposure with spotted bass, but I've caught them on it. So I feel very comfortable in saying that it'll work just fine. The other thing that I'm not sure you're going to be able to hear here is the sound that it makes coming through the water. It's really got a clacking sound to it, which is different than other chatterbaits, which I really like. So I hope you enjoyed this video, guys. This is one of those secret baits that if you can get your hands on, you really should try to. It's a unique bait, Phony Frog craw, and good luck with it. So if you enjoyed the video, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already, and share it on social media. Thanks for watching.